Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Roblox Rich. Roblox has come a long way since its launch nearly 20 years ago. Over the course of that time, we've noticed numerous changes to its style and how it's presented with that said in this video. We are going to be comparing some of the evolution of graphics in Roblox from 2006 to 2020. Okay, so let's start with the simple things. Water. So yes, the graphics for water didn't get us all wet in terms of clarity. The water looks like simply particle blocks that you could just sink into. In fact, when you look at it, you wouldn't even think that it was water, but just something you can walk on, only by then you realize that you're sinking into the ground. So it's definitely not quicksand. So as you can imagine, in 2020, water in Roblox has moved up, and then down and up, and so on. Water now looks like proper rendered liquid that is easily recognizable and fun to play in. We also saw new swimming animations when in deep water. Trees. These were also made out of small blocks that were simple enough, but for some, these didn't really look like trees. Although, I will say that little kids will remember a time when they would draw trees the same way as this. Back to 2020 now, and you'll notice a few little changes to the trees. Obviously some of these still look very much like the trees back from 2006. The only difference being with the new wood textures and, well, less of circular leaves. Houses. So finally something bigger. Now, houses in 2006 were relatively quite decent. The outside textures were good, and some houses even had the occasional swing or slide, but that was it. Inside, the interiors was bare and felt like your average survival hut from Minecraft. Now in 2020, you'd think that you just switched to The Sims. Houses now look more modern and aren't all the same. The exterior is well decorated, but the biggest changes is in the interior, where we have nice comfortable seating areas with a delightful fireplace, and upstairs we have... Okay, this is slowly turning into a real estate program now. To cut a long story short, the interiors feel more like a home with the added furniture, lighting, and decorations. Castles. Now these were pretty much basic structures. What stood in its place as a castle were blocky castle walls, which were decent to say the least, but they lacked more structures like villages, and even the main part of the castles itself. 2020 brought in a fantasy man's dream with very decorative exteriors and interiors. Castles now have built-in villages and throne rooms. Each section of the castle has its own unique textures and features where players could trade items and roleplay in any story they wish. Graveyards. Now for something of a spooky nature, or at least they tried in 2006. Graveyards back then were nothing special. Each grave was a simple rectangular block with RIP on it. It seemed pretty straightforward when you think about it, although it lacked the right atmosphere. It must have creeped out a few people while playing it. You may have already guessed what it looks like now. Well, a lot has changed since then. Graveyards now have textured coat from the brick, stone and marble, where there's also supporting walls and fences. With tall mortuaries, you'll also notice the added smoke effects to give it that creepy vibe. Forests. Now we've already touched on trees in this video, but what are the forests like? Well, just about the same as you may think, as a simple canvas with circular trees and bushes. This was good and all, but this also felt unrealistic, as it was easy to see where you were going because the vegetation wasn't as thick and the lighting didn't create much immersion as to say what time of day it was. Going forward now, and you're sure to like the soothing sounds of birds tweeting. Forests now have well-coded textures and even added small structures like cabins. Also, that lighting is just breathtaking. And finally, everyone's favourite thing, fire. No, seriously kids. Don't play with fire, or at least if it's even possible. Back in 2006, since fire effects weren't well made, there was still images of a sort of weird way to implement as fire. But hey, it's better than nothing. And back once more in 2020, and as you expect, we have proper fire effects with that nice warm glow and particles springing up from the campfire. How delightful to see. So there you have it guys. Roblox games in 2006 was just that blocky game with nothing in between them. The textures weren't exactly up to scratch, but it could run on the most basic of computers at the time. Your avatar had nothing to boast about. Either you were big and bulky, like, well, a block. In fact, with a cylinder-shaped head. Looking back at those, you would think that you were suddenly playing old Lego games. Wait a minute, are you sure you were talking about Roblox and not Lego? Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Also, check out the 2 videos you're seeing on the screen. It would be a huge help as always guys. I'll see you guys next time on Roblox Rich.